Hey, Fatty McFat. Don't fuck with me.
Bullies thought Jimmy was just a fat boy they could torment and break for fun. But they had no idea their cruelty awakened a sleeping giant. And when he rose, he wasn't looking for forgiveness. He's looking for a systematic checkmate. The story starts from North Jersey High School, where we are shown three boys coming in the corridor of the school. Among these three boys, their leader's name is Mice, who sees a boy present there and starts bothering him and calls him fat again and again, and also drops his book. Actually, this fat boy's name is Jimmy. Despite all this, Jimmy never answers Mice and quietly comes home from there. But now Jimmy was very upset about being bullied every day. But he couldn't do anything even if he wanted to, because neither his teacher nor his friends could help him. Also, Jimmy doesn't tell anything to his mom and dad, because he is the only son of his family and his dad has a night shift. At the same time, his mom worked in her own day shift, so he didn't want to bother his parents. The next day, Jimmy was going to school with Andy and Bobby. On the way, Bobby sees Mice coming towards him and runs away from there. Mice comes and asks Jimmy for $100, but Jimmy asks him what $100, to which Mice hits him on the head and says that you borrowed this money from my friend, which you haven't returned yet. But Jimmy says that I didn't borrow any money from your friend, where will I get it back from? But Mice was doing all this on purpose just to bother Jimmy. Then a rich boy from the school passes by and he sees Mice hitting Jimmy. That's why he starts staring at Mice. Seeing this, Mice gets scared and starts leaving. But on the way, he threatens to return $100 from Jimmy. Anyway, all the kids in the class are taking their class, then the teacher asks a question in the class, which is answered by a girl named Lucy. Actually, Lucy is a bold girl who is not afraid of anyone. Seeing this, it seems that Jimmy likes Lucy. After which the class is about to end, then Mice pinches Bobby's chest.
Smaller baby. Smaller baby.
Which Bobby screams loudly and leaves the class crying. Here we know that Bobby is gay, so he doesn't like it at all that any boy touches his body. Here when Bobby is sitting near the locker and crying, then Jimmy comes and explains to him that we shouldn't cry like this, and we should just think about our happiness. At the same time he says, look, I also like to eat a lot, so let's go to the canteen with me now, and today's food will be on my side. Now these three are eating food in the canteen. That's when Bobby tells Jimmy, look, Lucy is looking at you, I think she likes you too, maybe she wants to go on a date with you too. On which Jimmy says, look, I am so fat, who will go on a date with me? And by saying this, he starts avoiding the matter. All these people are talking and that's when Mice comes here, and he starts asking Jimmy for $100 again, and he doesn't even let Jimmy eat in peace, he is also bothering him a lot. Seeing Mice doing this, a boy in the canteen tells Mice to go from there, but Mice also starts shouting at that boy that you mind your own business, don't bother me, but that boy doesn't shut up, and he shows his elder brother here and tells Mice that if you don't go from here now, then I don't know what will happen to you. On which Mice quietly leaves from there. After school, when Jimmy was going back to his house, that's when Mice comes out of the car and starts asking Jimmy for money, but Jimmy clearly tells Mice that look, I don't have any money. On this point, Mice starts hitting Jimmy, while Jimmy is being beaten. An old man sees from his window that a boy is being beaten on the ground, so that old man comes out of the house and tells Mice to stop, but Mice also says bad things to him and leaves from there in his car. Seeing Jimmy's condition like this, that old man takes him to his house. The old man tells Jimmy his name is Jackson, and also tells Jimmy that people used to call me by the name Action because I used to be a boxer in my youth. Anyway, Jackson tells Jimmy to change his friends, on which Jimmy says that he is actually not my friend, he is just a bully boy from my school who is bullying me for money that I have never taken. On this point, Jackson tells Jimmy to learn some self-defense, then Jimmy says that can you teach me all this because you have already been a boxing champion, but refusing Jackson Jimmy says that I am old now, I can't teach you, but I have a friend who has a boxing club, he can teach you, but for this you will have to take permission from your parents. After this, Jackson goes to leave Jimmy at his house, where he meets Jimmy's parents. Jimmy's mother asks him how did you get hurt, on which Jackson says that some goons were harassing your son and today I have helped him, but I want Jimmy to join a boxing club so that he can at least do his self-defense. While Jimmy's father thanks Jackson and also gives him permission to join the boxing club. The next day we see that Jimmy comes to Jackson's house and they also agree with Jackson, so Jackson takes them to his friend's boxing gym. Here Manny and Jackson are very old friends and they are meeting after a long time, so both are very happy. Jackson introduces Manny to Jimmy and tells Manny to teach self-defense to Jimmy. On this, Manny agrees with Jackson and tells Jimmy to come the next day. The next day, Jimmy meets Jackson after coming from school, who takes him with him to the gym. Before going inside the gym, Jackson tells Jimmy that remember that you are learning this boxing for self-defense, not to bother anyone else. After this, Manny tells Jimmy the benefits of being overweight and says that I know that your body weight is very heavy and it has put you in a lot of trouble, but if you want, this can also be your advantage. Manny says that look, your body is big and you can take advantage of it, and to show this, Manny tells Jimmy to push him. Then Jimmy pushes Manny with all his strength, which makes Manny fall back, after which Manny says that I was talking about exactly this power. After the end of today's gym class, Jackson comes to leave Jimmy at his house. Jackson asks Jimmy that why is that bully bothering you so much? Then Jimmy says that he is asking me for $100, which I have never taken from him. Hearing this, Jackson gives an idea to Jimmy. He says that why don't you ask him for some time, instead of which you give him $200 instead of $100, and I know that he will agree to this, he will not bully you again. Jimmy asks Jackson that how much time should I ask him for? Jackson says that at least a month, and by then you will be very good at boxing. The next day we see that Jimmy is lying on the bed and is not even being picked up by him because he has done the gym for the first time in his life. Then his mom comes and asks him what happened. Jimmy says that his body is in pain, so his mom brings him an ointment and tells him to apply it and get ready for school, but somehow, he gets up for school and leaves for school. Even while going to school, his walk is very loose. Then his friend Andy asks him what happened. Jimmy lies to him that nothing, just picking up some furniture at school, but Andy makes a lot of fun of him by seeing his walk. Anyway, now as soon as he comes to school, he bothers Jimmy again and starts asking him for money. But this time Jimmy says to Mice that look, give me a few weeks, I am now doing a part-time job and as soon as I get a salary, I will give you $200 instead of $100, but promise me that you will not bother me. Now as soon as he listens to $200, he agrees and leaves him and goes away. Here we see that it has been a week since Jimmy came to the boxing gym, but Manny sees that Jimmy's mind is broken and Jimmy is not able to use his strength. Seeing this, Manny tells Jackson that look, this boy is just wasting my time. If this continues, then I will not be able to teach him anything and he will not be able to learn anything. Also tells Jackson to think about it. After this, when Jackson goes to drop him home, he asks Jimmy why he is worried. Jimmy says that you can see that I am so fat and seeing my condition, I do not feel that I can do anything. Jackson says that you are right that maybe you will not be able to do it at all, but there is a 1% chance that you can do it, so go and rest now, we will meet tomorrow morning. Anyway, now when Jimmy comes home, he sees that his father is having dinner and leaving for his night shift, then Jimmy goes to him and tells him his problem. Jimmy's father says that if someone had taught me self-defense at your age, then maybe I would have taught you all this before. But now if you want your children not to be bullied in a school like you every day and you can teach them self-defense, then you will have to work hard for it. Saying this, Jimmy's father leaves for his work. Now somewhere or the other, Jimmy gets very emotional after hearing all this. The next day, Jimmy is going to school with his friends, then Mice comes and stops him, but this time he does not say anything to Jimmy, but while not killing Jimmy, he takes out all his anger on Bobby and he hits Bobby in front of everyone, so Bobby goes alone and cries. Jimmy comes to him. Bobby cries to Jimmy and says that how can we save ourselves from all this because even the teachers do not say anything to them, on which Jimmy tells him not to worry. Now I have a plan to deal with all this. The next day, Jackson goes to his house to take Jimmy to the gym, but Jimmy is not there, then his mom tells him that Jimmy has already left for the gym. Jackson is very happy to hear this and he also goes to the gym behind Jimmy. Anyway, now seeing Jimmy's energy level in the gym, Manny and Jackson are very happy today, after which Jimmy starts working hard in the gym every day. He is learning boxing with a lot of passion, seeing which Jackson is very happy and Manny also starts working hard on Jimmy. On the same day, Mice reminds Jimmy about the money on which Jimmy says that he will give him his money. This week his boss will give him a salary, so he has to wait. But Jimmy's friend Andy asks him what is going on, after which Jimmy tells him that I am not doing any job, I am actually learning boxing, in which an old man is helping me, who saved my life from Mice that day. Meanwhile, Lucy comes to Jimmy and sits here and invites Jimmy for a party in the evening, for which Jimmy says yes. At night, Jimmy gets ready for the party and asks his mom how I am looking. But when his mom asks the reason for being so ready, then Jimmy tells that today he is going to a party with his classmate Lucy. Then Lucy comes to pick him up with her mom and both leave in Lucy's mom's car for the party. Jimmy has come to such a party for the first time in his life, where Lucy and Jimmy talk a lot to each other and both express their love to each other and kiss each other. Then a boy named Adrian comes there and annoys him, but this time Jimmy does not sit quietly. He clearly tells him that if you do not go from here, it will not be good. Seeing Jimmy's confidence, Adrian leaves from there. The next day, Jimmy comes to the boxing gym with Lucy. Here Lucy also finds out that Jimmy is actually learning boxing, and Jimmy introduces Lucy to Manny. Manny asks Lucy if you are also interested in boxing, on which Lucy says that can girls really learn boxing. Then Manny says that wait, I'll show you all this, and then we see a boxer girl and a boys fight, where that girl boxer knocked out her opponent in 2 minutes. After this, we see that the next day is Sunday, but Jimmy now comes to the gym on Sunday, where Manny is very happy to see him coming on Sunday, and today, he teaches him some boxing moves here. Anyway, now on Monday, Jimmy is going to school with his friends. That's when Mice sees him and comes to him. He says to Jimmy that your time is over. I want my money after school is over. And yes, I don't care where you got it from, but I want my money today, and if you didn't give me my money today, then be ready to get beaten. When Jimmy is using the bathroom, that's when the rich boy comes to Jimmy and says that Jimmy, I know you're not doing any job and you're actually taking boxing training, so if you need me, I'm with you. Now both of these things are heard by Mice's friend Adrian, and he tells Mice about it. After which, when Mice finds out that Jimmy is learning boxing, he calls a big boxer to beat Jimmy. But in the toilet, Adrian's words are heard by Mice's friend, who tells the rich boy that Mice is calling a dangerous boxer who is going to kill Jimmy. On the other hand, we are shown Jimmy and Lucy, where Lucy forbids him from fighting with Mice, but Jimmy leaves without listening to him. Now Lucy calls Manny and tells him all this, but Manny says with a smile that Jimmy is my trained boxer, he knows how to deal with all this, so don't worry. After this, the school is closed and all the children come there to see this fight. Even the teachers are watching this fight from the school windows. After which Jimmy comes here with his friend, then Mice starts laughing at Jimmy. He tells Jimmy that I have called a big boxer too and he will come now. But then that rich boy comes from behind and says that he is not going to come because I have already arranged for it. So now when the other way does not remain with Mice, then he himself jumps into the field. Jimmy falls to the ground in the first punch of Mice, but then when he cheers his friends, he remembers Manny's words and stands up again. After this, he starts hitting Mice. Seeing Mice being beaten, Mice's friends catch Jimmy from behind, after which Jimmy's friends also come into the fight and attack Mice's friends and leave Jimmy. Jimmy starts hitting Mice again and here Mice gets stuck there. After which Jimmy tells Mice that after today if you try to bother any child in school, then I will make your condition worse. Hearing this, all the students present there start clapping for Jimmy, as if Jimmy had become their hero. And this fight of Jimmy spreads throughout the media. This is the news that Manny and Jackson are also very happy to see, and they praise Jimmy a lot. At the same time, Jimmy's parents also know about this news, who are proud of Jimmy. At the end of the story, we see Jimmy and his friends in the school, who are roaming in the school without fear. Also, Jimmy and Lucy are now together and now Jimmy openly enjoys his student life. With this amazing movie ends here. Friends, don't forget to subscribe.